Hey guys, new video here. Today we're answering a question. Are boss-filled rituals worth it, Because everybody knows how this works, right? You take a blood-filled ritual, you use it on the altar, and what's going to end up happening is like you fill it up with all the monsters that have been tagged by that ritual. If you're wondering what mobs are tagged, they're like kind of covered in this like blood-looking aura thingy. And then sometimes if you're lucky enough to have the ritual spawn on top of a boss in either a map or like some boss map like this, like the Shaper Guardians or Elder Guardians, well, then you can capture them too. And even if you're running like Deli, some of the more rare bosses like Cozy and Omnipopula, that guy they can capture on any of the vessels they spawn around. And so what I want to know is like, there's a few kinds of vessels that you'll probably have on you. Most commonly, you'll probably have some vessels like this where you just capture the ritual vessel that's on the boss itself, and you'll get either like one or more bosses or sometimes no bosses. And just get a bunch of monsters in there too. And then you might have a couple like this, like these are Shaper Guardians. And I wanted to know if it mattered. And so this is a part 1 video because I'm testing out, today I only tested out the Shaper Guardians. What I did as my kind of like control test is I ran some maps with just like a decent amount of monsters in them. They didn't have any bosses, so like you can kind of see here under monsters listed, they did not have any map boss in them. And I kind of like eyeballed the returns, and although it was noticeable that it was like, you did notice that the rewards a little bit rare. It wasn't anything like too crazy, but I didn't run too many of those. I only had enough for like a few maps. And then what I started doing is I have cemeteries. Now these cemeteries are all rolled the same way. They have Deli on them, they have Beyond on them, so really good for like an even consistent flow of monsters throughout the map, in case that mattered. And then today we put in these bosses. So we put in either Elder or Shaper bosses, filled vessels. Okay, 4 of them in every map. We put Beyond on the map device as well. And then we just went, of course, we used Sextants and everything, and we were running these in Hayward Hamlet with these nodes right here. Now, the maps, one thing that kind of surprised me was that the maps felt pretty juicy. You can watch my VOD from last night to kind of see this, but the maps were really juicy. Like, there was a lot of lag because a lot of monsters, a lot of Beyond spawning in. The rituals felt really good. Some of them had a crazy amount of monsters. When you look at the ritual, the currency, the tribute, you're always over like 10K, sometimes like usually around like 15K, I'd say, like 15, 17, 18K. So you could buy most of the things you wanted. And if you were to defer and then re-roll the map, unless you had over like 4,000 tribute, you were pretty safe there as well. Now, to answer the question, are these worth it? Because what I did is I cannot fill this up myself, right? Like you can look at these Guardian maps. These are done by obviously running maps such as this, right? And people might naturally be running these because the Formed is one of the more profitable ones to run. It's very easy to run. You run 4 maps, you run a Formed, nothing too tricky about it. Whereas like, running the Feared by yourself as a solo player is kind of annoying, right? But the Formed, super simple, super fast, great profits. So these ritual vessels, I was running the Shaper Guardians and I was buying them from all my viewers because what was going on is I realized that like the ritual altar doesn't spawn on top of the boss 100% of the time, which really sucked because you could go like 3-4 maps and you wouldn't be able to capture a guy, or like maybe you'd forget to capture a guy, but it was kind of rare to have the ritual right on top of the boss so you can get this guy in there. So I was paying a premium to get all these vessels. I would say 80% of the vessels in this quad tab, there are 576, I believe. Is it 476 or 576? I forgot how many in here. Whatever, 24 times 24, whatever that is. Okay, so I was paying 20C per vessel of these, which is a lot, right? The base vessel in bulk, I think it's 8 to 10C. And so in this tab I need to basically get like a headhunter, right? In my ritual vessels by the time I use all of these directly from the ritual vessels, right? Which is why I'm running this test to make it back, okay? I will go out on a limb and I'll say my hypothesis is that I think I will make it back. Now I'm going to show you what I got from them in a second, but overall, I wouldn't say it's worth it to buy these at all, ever. Because although the rewards are noticeable, they aren't really that crazy yet, and definitely not worth paying 20C per ritual vessel because I was for the bulk buys, because you will on average probably not make back the 80C per ritual reward. Now, here's what I have so far. I ran I want to say I ran like maybe like 20 maps or something, and maybe more. I wasn't really counting. Okay, I'll have to look at my map watch up when we do part 2 with the non-boss filled rituals. And this is like kind of what we have so far. We got a lot of blighted maps. We got some scarabs. You'll notice that, like, you know, the scarab rarity, and like you get some harbinger maps, some like stacks of like the more rare currencies. It is definitely noticeable that you get rare stuff. Okay, I have a 5 stack of exalts that are deferred, and some other stuff. You will definitely notice that it's more rare, but definitely not worth buying. I would say at this point, with these returns, only do it if you are capturing it yourself and it's some farm that you don't go out of your way for. So I would never go out of my way to capture bosses in like boss maps, just so to speak, just to put them into normal maps. However, if I was farming the formed or like the twisted or like any of the other ones, and I just naturally got the ritual vessels, I think you should always capture ritual vessels that are on top of bosses, yes, but only if it's like some side content that you're doing already. Okay, so that's all I'll say about it. I haven't finished my test. I will be running the rest of these on stream later, but today is Valentine's Day and I have something to do. And no, it's not a date with my hand. Okay, and so we will be running more of these cemetery maps and other maps with these ritual vessels and really getting a feel for how worth it are they. And yeah, right now the rewards definitely not making 80C per map. However, we might get a mirror, we might get a header, we'll see. I think more data is necessary. And this is just a preliminary video to tell you guys, don't buy ritual vessels. Okay, do not buy ritual vessels ever. Yep, that's it. Okay, thanks for watching my video. That's part 1. Part 2 coming later. Okay, bye guys.